Hello there, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for stopping by for your weekly tarot video forecast. This forecast is for the week of May the 9th through the 15th. And I am recording this on May the 5th. I think you can see behind me out the window, we have snow falling. This is Colorado weather, y'all. Just never know what you're going to get. We did not have a hard winter at all. We barely got any snow this winter. And now we're getting snow. I'm not sure how much we're supposed to get. But anyway, I just think it's wild. We live in a wild world. So I'm just shuffling your card for you, Sagittarius. We are going to pull one card per day, catch the highlights, see if there's any themes going on through the week. Just a little reminder that this is a general reading, meaning that not everything is going to apply to every single Sagittarius, but that most of it will apply to most of you. That's how this works. Okay, so let's get down some cards. Oh, you've got two heavy hitters. Major Arcana right off the bat for the weekend. La da 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 da, Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius, you've got an interesting week ahead of you. Let's take a look here. We're going to start with our weekend cards and then we'll dive in to the weekend and then we'll do the same thing for the week. So Saturday's card is the Stag coming up in reverse. And we also have the Wanderer in reverse. Wow. Okay, Sagittarius, you all know that I do not do candy coating. So when I say that, you know it's time to buckle up those seatbelts and put on the hard hats because we have a ride for this week, at least for parts of it. At least for parts of it. Okay, so here, let's start with Saturday. We have the Stag in reverse. Sunday is the Fool. Okay, the Stag in reverse tells me that you're dealing with somebody who has some sort of leadership position in your life, whether that's like the patriarch or the matriarch of the family, or whether that's your supervisor or the owner of the company you work for or whatever. But you have somebody who has influence in your life who is not being very straight with you. This is somebody who abuses their position of authority. I want to check on something real quick. Okay. All right. I just was suspicious about something there, so I just wanted to check that out and see if I was going the right direction. So anyway, you've got somebody that is that has some kind of authority over your life that is not handling their authority in a very responsible way. They could be corrupt. They could be saying things that are not true to have things actually happen. This card would be associated, I'm hearing that this is associated with Capricorn. So Capricorn is like leaders. Sometimes it's government position even when we're talking about astrology. And so, you know, there's somebody that is, you know, with a lot of power in charge that is not shooting from the hip. Okay. They are not handling things in a true and authentic way as they try to influence you to do what they want, hope, expect you to do. Expect seems like a strong word to me, but that's the word Spirit's giving me. So they're not being straight with you as they manipulate you to do, at least they try to manipulate you to do what they expect you to do. Okay? So hopefully, because you know this is coming in, you'll kind of have your eyes open and you'll be looking for, okay, do you have anything that verifies what you're saying to me before I go off and do whatever this is you want me to do about it? I think that's what's needed. You're going to have to make people prove to you that things are really the way they are if they want you to take any action based on the way they're saying things are. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in a situation you're going to wish that you weren't in because it's not going to be aligned with who you are or how you want to operate in the world. Heads up. Like I said, safety belt on, hard hat on. So Sunday, I like a little better. This is the Wanderer. And so in other decks, this would be the Fool. You can see that this person, you know, they're stepping out by faith. So this is beginning something new by faith. I mean, if you look at that rainbow, that's what's coming down next, his or her. And how solid is a rainbow? So this is stepping out by faith, just hoping that Spirit has your back. And generally, when we see the Fool card, we're doing something new that we just know that we 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 know is the right thing to do, although it may not be logical and we may not know how to explain it. Okay? But here we're doing the thing that feels best to us because we're so sure that it is the right thing. And, we're following an intuitive nudge to do this thing. And so when we follow that intuition, which I believe comes from Sacred Spirit, then guess what? Sacred Spirit starts solidifying that rainbow below our feet. So we're reaching out in faith, stepping out. Sacred Spirit is guiding those steps. So as long as we stay tuned to where that first intuitive nudge came from, we'll do just fine. So that's the trick. Just stay tuned to your intuition as you move forward with this leap of faith. Because leaps of faith come about to really help us move forward productively and accomplish some of the things we'd like to accomplish, even when we don't know how to do them ourselves or accomplish those ourselves. Okay, so let's move into the week. Monday, 4 of Stones. Tuesday, 8 of Bows in reverse. Wednesday, Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Thursday, 2 of Arrows in reverse. By the way, guys, we don't stress out about reversals on this channel. Sometimes reversals are better than the right side ups. So please don't stress out. If this is your first time visiting, please don't stress. And then Friday, we have the Green Man in reverse. Okay, so there's definitely some things happening during the week that are going to take your focus and your elbow grease to get through them. The first thing that we have on Monday is the 4 of Stones. And the 4 of Stones, I actually like. It shows you in sort of a sheltered situation. I think you're holding back on sharing something, whether that's you're holding back on sharing money, that could be. You could be holding back on sharing your feelings around something. I don't feel like this is necessarily keeping secrets as much as it's just not sharing. Like, nobody asked me, it hasn't come up, there's no reason for me to bring this up type of situation. I don't think there's anything deceptive about it. I just think that rather than stepping into the fray, because I feel like there's some back and forth around you, you're just keeping your own stuff to yourself. You're keeping your opinions to yourself. You're keeping your feelings to yourself. I feel like you're just in this very sheltered position of observing what's going on with the other people around you and being very intentional about the idea that you're not going to be sucked into their chaos, really. Their upsettedness, their feelings. You're just not going to allow yourself to be sucked into that. Now, look at Tuesday. 8 of Bows in reverse. This just says that you have some people around you on Tuesday that it's probably a good thing that you were holding back Monday. Like, these are people that if you know these people from work, you cannot share personal things with them because then they somehow get weaponized and used against you. Or if these are people from home or from your personal life, you can't share things from work because then those things get weaponized and used against you. And so I think this is really a card of, keeping everything neat and tidy and compartmentalized in your life. Not letting any crossover come up. Because I don't feel like you can. You can't trust people to handle that kind of information with discretion. All right, now let's look at Wednesday. Here we have the Ace of Stones showing up in reverse, Sagittarius. With this Ace of Stones showing up in reverse, this is telling me that your ideas about what's solid and stable around you are really shifting. You're starting to see those things that you used to count on as being stable and steady are kind of like shifting sand. And so now you're reevaluating what is really stable and steady around you. What can you rely on? What can you count on? What is dependable? What is reliable? What has a track record? What is long-standing? I think you're reconsidering that whole thing on Wednesday. You may be finding yourself seeing stability and security in a whole different light than you had before. Boop, ba-da-doo-doo. Let me give you an example of that, because I feel like some of you are like, what is she talking about? So when I was a kid coming up, and that's been a little bit ago, when I was a kid coming up, it was pretty stable and secure that if somebody had a job with a company that had factories and was manufacturing things, that they could keep that job and work that job till retirement and not have to worry about it, whatever level they were at, in really any kind of company at that point. And so there was that stability, and that security was there, because then you got the pension. And so that was supposed to help you into later life. Well, I don't know too many people in my generation that have worked any one job for most of their lives and got that stability and that security and that pension. That's just, I don't see that as being stable anymore. It's just not the way the world operates at this point. And so for me, I have a very different view of stability than what my parents do, because my dad's still getting his retirement from GM, and he's still got some medical benefits and all of that good stuff. But my version of stability has nothing to do with working for a company, because a company can drop you at any time. I mean, look at the whole AI scare that we have right now. So my version of stability has to do with, I want to sail my own ship. I want to set my own course. I want to be the one in charge of how much work I'm doing, what work I'm doing, what I'm creating, what I'm offering the world, and how much I can offer it. I want that to be up to me. To me, that is a version of stability and security. I'm not going to close the doors on me and just leave a pink slip hanging on the gate. You know? So this is what I'm talking about with a change of perspective in something that makes you feel stable or secure. Could be around a work situation, could be around a family situation too. But that's just one example of how perspectives can change around stability and security. And of course, not everybody in my generation has my perspective on stability and security. But I think that there is going to be a change in that for you guys. Now, let's look at Thursday. Here we've got that Two of Arrows showing up in reverse. This says you're trying to make a decision on Thursday, only you really don't know which side of the fence you prefer here. And so if there's somebody trying to pressure you, I need to know Thursday. Try to buy some time if you can. If this is you pressuring you, because most times it is us pressuring ourselves to make a decision right now, right now, right now. Once again, buy some time. Tell yourself you don't have to make this decision this red hot minute. It's okay to sit with it until you can come to a conclusion that you feel very comfortable with about what direction you want to go, so that you know that later on you won't have to backtrack and undo what you decided. And you can move forward with the decision that feels best to you. All right, and then let's look at Friday. Friday, we have the Green Man in reverse. I feel like this is somebody in your sphere of influence that feels like their life is totally out of control right now. So this person may have had a tower fall in their life. For those of you who know the Tower card, they may have had a major shakeup in life, and they may be feeling like they are no longer in control of where their life is going. Or maybe they didn't have a major shakeup. Maybe they've been sort of free floating through life for a while, but they're talking to you about it today. They're letting you know that whether they've been free floating or whether there's been a shakeup, they're letting you know that they're not happy with how their life is going. And they're feeling like it's time to do something different here. And I think they're coming to you I think they're using you as a sounding board to see what your reaction is to their ideas. And maybe even to see if you have any good advice for them as they are moving towards making some changes. Okay. So that's what we have for this week. I can't say that I have any super spectacular days except for Sunday with that whole new beginning. It looks like there are some things around you that are a little bit tense with this card where you're just kind of holding back and observing. And you've got people here that you just have to kind of keep your world compartmentalized around. Whole new thoughts around what's stable and what's secure. And it's interesting that you're having all of these thoughts, and then at the end of the week, somebody's coming to you because something has shook them up, or because they're not feeling like they've been going through life in a way that brings stability and security. They're getting advice from you. And I think that's funny and that's interesting, because it looks to me like you're maybe like 3 steps ahead of this person in the process of bringing more stability and security to your life. You're not very far ahead of this person, and yet you are far enough to be able to be that sounding board and to give them good advice. And maybe even you collaborate on something to move forward together as well. Okay. So Sagittarius, you've got an important week ahead of you, because it looks like you're going to be changing directions on some things. And, just make sure that you are thinking everything through well as you do it. And even with that leap of faith, like if you know that you know that you know, I would encourage you to take that leap of faith, because it's going to put you in the right place at the right time, talking to the right people about the right things so that you can move forward positively. Okay. Thank you guys very much for being here. I appreciate y'all. Of course, you guys know the drill. If you want a reading, check out my website. You can find all my contact information there. I also have a newsletter. If you're not signed up for it, you might want to sign up for it there. And of course, I'll see some of you here this week for a reading, but the rest of you, I'll see back next week on the next video. Peace out.